Hi guys, welcome back again to our Battle Royale tutorial series. In this episode we're going to do some cleanup work, set up our switchable camera and set up our main menu to start getting it ready for our character customization. So, the first thing we're going to do is, I've seen on the YouTube comments that some people have had some problems with the clothes syncing up. When I've tested this, the clothes don't sync up properly inside the editor, but if you send it from the source, so Epic Games, right click, show in folder, and then just launch from the source, it normally works okay here. But I do realise this may cause some issues further down the line when people are adding more and more clothes and more things into their game. So let's just quickly adjust that. If we head over to our characters, our blueprints, then characters, and then open up our base character. Okay. Now, inside our base character, what we need is, give me just a second to dock this over here. What we need is our set master pose component, and this has to be off the event begin play. So when the character is spawned into the level, on the event begin play, we're going to set the master pose component. So off of here, let's just drag off and say set master pose component, and we'll bring in the mesh first, okay. And this is just getting a reference to our mesh, so the parent object. Take it off target because we want this to be our new master bone component. Okay. Now we want to target everything to the master bone component. So let's just make a little bit of space here. I want to just start dragging these in. So we'll go for our top first and drag that to target. Our bottoms, target, and our shoes to the target, and our hair to the target. Okay, so this is it. That is all you had to do, and it is now set up for the animation to work properly on our clothes. If you go to the viewport, you should be able to see that working okay. You may still get some clipping. You can see I've got some here, and that is because of the actual rigging method from Mixamo. What you would have to do with that is take the top into Blender, 3ds Max, Maya, any 3D package, use soft selection and just pull these areas out, and then re-import them, and they'll come in okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to work on is our third person camera. I've seen a lot of people wanted a third person camera, and there's been a lot of different methods. People want to move the camera back, but the problem we have here is our camera is parented to the head, and this prevents any clipping when we are animating. Okay, so rather than moving the camera back, what we'll do is we'll set up our own script to activate a new camera. So inside your camera, your follow camera, let's just rename this, and we'll call this first person camera. Okay, and if you scroll down, you can see we have auto activate. Let's keep this on for our first person camera. Okay, this is only because I want to use first person as the first camera when you spawn in. If you want to use third person, then use the auto activate on the third person camera first. So let's go to our camera boom and add a component. We just want to add another camera. Okay, and this one we'll call third person camera. And if we scroll down, we want to untick the auto activate, and just compile and save this just now. Now we want to go to our event graph Let's just move over here a little bit. And the first thing we want to do is set up our input mapping, because we want a key that we can click and it will change the camera for us. So if we go to back to our main menu, and if we scroll down to, if we go to edit and then scroll down to the project settings, we can go to input, and these are all the input mappings for our character just now. So we have jump and reset VR. We don't actually need reset VR, but we'll just leave it there. So we'll create another one, and we'll call this switch camera. Let's just make that a capital C. And if we drop down this list, we can type in enter. And this will just get the enter key for our keyboard. I'm going to use enter for a default. You can use whatever key you like. And we can also drop down some more if you like. We can add another action map and have more than one key, or we can set something towards the gamepad to be our enter, maybe the start button or the options button or something. But for now we don't need this. I'm only going to use one key. So this automatically saves. Let's just close off it and we'll save current. And if we go back into our event graph now, inside our base character, if we right click and type in input switch camera, and this gets the input map from the enter key. Okay. Now from the press we want a flip-flop. Now what this does is it takes one value, and when you press it again, it gives another value. And again, when you press it a third time, it'll go back to the first value. So what we want to do is we want to, because our camera is set as the first person camera to begin with, we want our third person camera to be at the top. If you set your third person camera to auto activate, then you would set your first person camera at the top. But we have our first person camera as our auto activate, so we'll start working on a third person camera first. So let's drag that in. And from the third person camera, we just want to say set activate, or set active, sorry. And just drag that from A. And we want to, under new active, just click to activate it. And when we activate our third person camera, we want to deactivate our first person camera. So let's just drag in our first person camera and drag off and say set active, and drag this to here and leave this as null. So this deactivates our camera. Now for the B, we want to do the opposite. So I'm just going to paste this down here, just duplicate it. And if we detach these two, and we'll drag the third person to the second one, and the first person to the first one, and just drag those into the targets, and then just connect this up to the B. Okay? Now if we compile and save, and if we pop into our main menu and hit play, don't worry about my background disappearing, I hid it by accident. So we'll just wait on this loading up our lobby. Okay, so now I'm in my lobby. You can see I'm in first person mode. And if I hit the enter key, it now goes to third person. And we can run around in third person mode. If we hit the enter key again, we go back to first person. And so on. Now, we will set up something for yeah, I've lost my mapping here. I'm not sure why. Yeah, so let's just set this to 1 just now for testing purposes. So yeah, once we have our guns in, we will have a third camera for our aim. and that aim camera will probably animate from the first person camera and move down to the gun. Okay, so we have our camera in, this is fine, it's moving around okay. We hit enter and we now have our third person, and we hit enter again and we have our first person, it's working okay. Yeah, okay. So that's all set up. Let's just comment this out and say third and first person camera switch. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is start setting up our main menu game modes. So let's just compile and save this, and for now we will close this down. And if we go to our content, blueprints, if we right click and create a new folder, and inside this new folder we just want to call it main menu. Inside this new folder we want to have our game mode, so let's right click and go to blueprint class and just type in game mode, and we want to take the game mode here and select, and we'll call this main menu game mode, or main menu GM. Okay. Next we want a game state, so let's create a new one for our main menu. So game state. Okay, and just main menu game state. And now we want a player controller, so let's just get blueprint class and player controller. And this is just main menu PC. And we also want a my player state. Okay, we want a player state. So if you go to blueprint class and type in player state, we can take this from here. Okay, and now we want to just call this my player state. Now this works similar to the game state. The difference being this one should be used more towards all of your player attributes, so things like clothes that have to be replicated, guns that have to be replicated, equipment, anything that has to be replicated on both server and client to do with the player should be in my player state. The game mode is more, the game state is more for things like your UI, your players, your score, just things like that. So let's now start setting this up. Actually, before we set this up in our world details, what we need is a pawn for our main menu. So let's go to our blueprints, let's go to our characters, and if we right click our base character and create a child blueprint class, we can now call this main menu pawn. Now if you open this up, you can see that our main menu pawn inherits everything from our character, our base character. Okay, and this is good. If you check up here, you can see we have event begin play and parent begin play. So this takes everything from the base character. Okay, so let's close that down for now, and we can just pop over to our content again. Let's just go to our world settings, and game mode we want to set our main menu GM. Our pawn we want to set our main menu pawn. Our player controller, our main menu player controller. Our game state, our main menu game state. Our player state we want to set as my player state. Now the reason why we want my player state is because this player state will be throughout all our levels. Okay, I actually should have put that inside. We have it in our main menu just now. Let's actually just put our player state inside our all levels. So let's main menu player state and move it to all levels. Just move here. Okay, so our player state is now inside here. And if we save all this and save all, we now have to close our editor and restart the editor so that we can load in our pawn. So I'll pause the video here and I'll be back in just a second once the editor is loaded back in. Okay, so now that we are back, we want to start working on our main menu. So if we open up our main menu widget, you can see we have this. We have a background here as well. Now when we click our character, we want to have our character appear, our character pawn actually appear in the main menu. Now the only way we can do this is by bringing in this main menu pawn that we just set up, but because we have a background we can't actually see it. So what I've gone ahead and done is just clicked on the background, and if you scroll down you can see visibility, and I've just hidden it for now. So now when I press play, you can see I don't have anything in the background and I have my nav bar at the top. Okay, this is what we want. So if I quit this just now, and if I close down the main menu just now, the next thing we need to do is bring in a background for us. So for this I'm just going to, if we go to basic, we can bring in a plane. Okay, and on this plane, let's just go to the details. We want to scale it so that it fits our background. So if we scale it to 10.8, this represents the 1080. And if we scale the Y to 19.2, this represents the 1920. Okay, let's just scroll out a little bit, and we want to rotate this 90 degrees. Okay, now we can't actually see much right now, but what we can see is it's a little bit too close to our player start here. So let's just scroll this, let's just move this out a little bit and take our player start, and you can see it's a little bit off, it's pointed differently. So what we have to do here is, if we set this to front and our snaps, if we set the rotation snaps to 5 degrees and just rotate this until it's straight. Okay. Then if we grab the plane, we can start to pull this down so that it is in line with the player start. Okay. So let's save current just now. Now, a big issue we have here is that when we press our player start, the actor falls to the ground. Okay? And this is because it is being transferred by gravity. So let's just click on our character blueprint. So the child actor, the main menu pawn, and let's just dock this back up here. And let's just open full blueprint editor just now. Okay, and if you go to our viewport, we can see we have the same in our viewport, and if we scroll down, we should be able to find gravity somewhere. I think it's in our character movement, so let's click on character movement. Yeah, so if we just type in gravity and pull this out, we can see our gravity scale. If we set this to 0 and compile, that should allow us to spawn in without actually falling to the ground. So if we drag in a point light just now, pop this here and press play, you can see we have our background, we have our point light here, and our character doesn't move. Okay, so let's just quit that. Now with the character just now, it spawns here, But what we want is our character to spawn over here somewhere. And we want a camera to be facing this way. So, what we need is a main menu camera. So, let's head over to our main menu pawn. And in our camera boom here, let's just add another camera. Okay. And this one will be called our main menu camera. Now, if we go to our first person camera, let's just clear the gravity there, and we scroll down, we can set the auto activate on this to null, and it doesn't affect our base character that we've set up before, because this is a child. Okay. Now when we go to our main menu character, camera, and we set the auto activate to true, and compile and save, and press play, you can see it now gives us the third person view, and our character doesn't move. But we want this to be the other way around. So we're going to have to move our character to the front. We're going to have to move the camera to the front of the character and then rotate the character around. Okay? So let's just move the camera. Make sure you're moving the right one. So you're moving your main menu camera. And just rotate the camera 180 degrees. And I think I want to position it a little bit higher. Okay, let's just compile that. Okay, so just adjust the camera until you're happy with what you see. Let's just move this in a little bit more, and compile and save and play. Okay, I think I like this. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is fix our background. And we need to rotate the character around as well, because right now the character is facing behind. So rather than rotate it in here, if we head back to our main menu and just click the player start, and if we pop back into perspective view, just so we can see it, we can now rotate the character 180 degrees. And if we save and press play, he's now facing the right way. But we can't actually see the character because the light is positioned behind him. So let's take the point light, just for debugging purposes, because we will be adding a directional light. We'll drag the point light out just a little bit. And when we press play, we can actually see the character now. Okay, we're getting there. So now we need our material on this plane at the back here. So if we head into our right view, we want to just try and center this as much as possible to where the character is. Okay, and let's just test this out. Yeah, that looks okay. Now if we, let's just clear this a minute. Let's go to our content, and if we scroll down to UI, textures, and we want to grab this main menu, and instead of user interface 2D, we want to set it back to default, because we no longer want to use this background as a user interface texture. Okay, sorry about that. If we go to materials and we right click and create a new material, we just want to call this m_main menu bg for background. And if we open this up, we can see it's completely blank. And what we want to do is, if we go back to our UI textures, grab this, main menu BG, or main menu background, and if we just pop over back to our main menu BG material and hold in T and click, it brings it in for us because we selected it here. Okay, and just drag that into the base color. Now we need a constant, and we'll keep it as 0, and just place that into specular and metallic, because by default Unreal Engine sets the specular to 0.5 and we get that kind of white sheet over the top of our texture. So let's just apply and save, and we can close this down now. And if we go back to our main menu, click on materials, and for the plane, just select the plane. You see the material here. We want to drag in our main menu BG. Okay, so let's save current. And if we press play, we can't yet see it because the light is back to front, I think. Let's just click on perspective. Yeah, so we need a stronger light here. Let's just add in our direction light. Okay, and then rotate it so that it points towards our background, and save and play. So now we have our background, we have our character. We may want to scale this down a little bit for the background, or possibly tile it. Yeah, maybe tile it, I think. Or just scale it down. Yeah, let's just scale it down. So if we uniform scale it, yeah, just uniform scale, then it'll scale the entire thing down for us, but keep the aspect ratio. Okay, and that is moved. So let's move the direction light back in front and press play. Something has went wrong, I think. Okay, I have it back here. I'm not quite sure what went wrong with it, but I've also noticed that it's a little too far away, so let's just move this back in. Okay, now it's casting a shadow. Okay, so you just move that again towards the front. There we have it. And if we want a shadow at the bottom here, we just have to add in a floor. I don't think I'm going to need it just now, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. And I think we can now drop the opacity of our background here. So let's head back into our UI and our main menu, and inside our options menu you see we have our background here. If we drop down the, okay, this is actually inside our menus. So if we pop back out and go to our video menu, and let's adjust this one first of all. So if we grab our background, and if we just click on the color and drop the opacity to, let's try 0.8, save and play. Yeah, it looks okay. Okay, and I think the light is maybe a little too strong here, and that is because we have this point light in here. In here. So let's just get rid of the point light. Press play, gives a little bit of shadow, and then from here we can just adjust how we want this to look here. So if we just drag this out a little, save this. Yeah, I like those shadows there. That's quite nice. Okay, and we also have to drop the opacity of our other widgets. So the controls, and go to the image, the background image that we set. Scroll down here and just set this to 0.8 and compile and save. And we also need to head back to our sounds and grab the image and do the exact same. Oh. Okay. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for joining us. And just a recap on what we've done. We've set up our main menu with our character in place. And this character will be getting changed out. We can change the clothes and things as we customise with our character menu. And we've also done our switchable third person and first person camera. Works great. And our clothes are now synced up properly. So thank you for joining us, and I will see you in the next one.